Hi guys, welcome back. This is my first video of the new year and we'll be discussing ignition module and distributor pickup coil. Now the common problems that you'll face if you have one or either of these two bad on your car or truck will be a hard start condition or a no start condition. Now this particular truck is a 1990 Ford Bronco with a fuel injected 5.8. And this will be a very similar repair to many cars and trucks out there, especially anything from 1980 to a 1996 Ford car or truck. Now I just want to point out that the 92 to 96 F Series, F150 and Bronco will be using a slightly different ignition module, and these are located on the inner fender of the driver's side. The earlier models will have a distributor mounted ignition module, but for all your models the pickup coil should essentially be the same. Now if you're having a hard start or no start symptom, check some of the obvious first. Make sure you have fuel go into your engine, your fuel pump, fuse relay. Make sure you have spark coming from your distributor. They sell spark testers and you can verify if you're receiving spark. Now this truck here, I've done a lot of overhauling. You can see there I've already replaced the ignition coil, the ignition wires, the distributor cap, the distributor rotor, and all new spark plugs. Another quick mention regarding the 92 to 96 F Series and Bronco. They're going to have two modules available for those years. Now it's very important that if you have a 94 to 96, get the black module, and I'll post up the part number for that. If you have a 92 to 93, you're going to need the gray module. Otherwise, if you use them vice versa, they'll plug in, but the truck will not run right. It'll have starting issues, it'll run rich, you'll have some misfiring going on in your cylinders, which nobody wants that. So be sure, again, 92 to 93 uses the gray ignition module, and the 94 to 96 uses the black ignition module. Alright, so let's get started. First, you're going to want to disconnect your battery. Just take off your negative cable and set it to the side. Okay, now the first thing I like to remove is the throttle cover. Next, remove your intake boots. Next, you're going to want to remove your distributor cap and just set it aside. There's a clip here. Next, remove the rotor. Unplug the ignition module. Remove these two screws. Okay, remove your pickup. There you go. Next, you're going to want to mark your distributor in two locations, down at the bottom and up here at the top. The distributor will be removed now, so you're going to need to know exactly where it was to make sure your timing is correct. Just make a marking here on the distributor itself and onto the block. Just like that. This indentation here signifies the direction that the rotor was pointed in. So make your markings to that, and the pickup coil here to the distributor cap. See that? That way you know it was pointing to that cylinder. Next, grab a wrench, remove your distributor. There are just two Phillip head screws here to remove the lower distributor cap, and it just lifts right off. Might have to just jingle it free. Pull it out. Now with the distributor out, in order to remove this shaft, there are going to be 2 pins that you're going to have to go to town on. You just tap them from the top here, and then they just slide out from the bottom down there. I don't have the exact tool, but you know, just a nice proper size punch will work, and they're easy enough to take out. There's one, and there's the other. Next, you're going to want to remove the gears off the shaft. In order to do that, you're probably better off using a vise or a press. I don't have any of those, so you can just do it like this. Put a nice grade 8 bolt in there and go to town. Just like that. And then separate the shaft. Okay, now with the distributor completely disassembled, all you have left is your module here and your pickup coil. Now if you're only going to replace the module, you don't have to remove the distributor. Just get to the step to where you have to loosen the distributor, mark everything, turn it, remove these 2 screws, and remove this module, replace it with the new one, and be on your way. Reset the timing, tighten, and put everything back. But in the case that you need to replace this pickup coil, it is unfortunately buried inside the distributor as such, so you have to take the distributor apart completely. The next step is to remove the module. The size is a 5.5, and it's a little tricky finding this piece here, this tool. I just happen to have a precision kit that came with all these little small bits, so I got lucky. But remove your module. There's the 2 screws. Shake it loose and then pull down. Just like that. Next we're going to remove the pickup. First you're going to want to remove this outside screw. Pull this metal tab out. And then pull out the pickup coil. There it is. Now take this opportunity to completely clean this distributor and grease up this O-ring here. I'll be doing that now. Alright, so I cleaned it up a little bit. It looks a little better. Now the first one you're going to install here is going to be the pickup coil. Just slide it onto the shaft like that. And then bolt this part in here. Next you're going to slide in the metal lever. And that's going to set your position. Alright, now the pickup coil is all done. Now this next step is very important. You're going to apply thermal paste onto the module here. Now, I do want to note that Ford has a recall on these older distributors that have the ignition module mounted to them. If your car or truck that has this type of ignition module on it overheats or runs hotter than it normally should, what will happen is that this module, since it's mounted on the distributor and the distributor is connected to the engine, this module, if it overheats, and this thermal paste helps it from doing that, if it does overheat, it will cause the car or truck to completely shut down. And that could be very dangerous because it will shut down, let's say for example on a freeway. And if you do shut down on a freeway, those are going to be some pretty serious consequences. For some people have taken the liberty to upgrade their distributor and get the distributor that has the remote mounted ignition module, which would be this one here. This would mount to your fender. The newer cars and trucks have the remote mount. The older ones will have something along the lines of this, a distributor mount. It's a little painstaking if you want to upgrade, so that's not something I'm looking to do. As long as you keep your module new and you use an OEM module, and I believe that if you keep your thermal paste fresh, you shouldn't have any issues. Especially make sure your engine temps are good and you should be good to go. Next step, you want to slide your shaft back in. Now lining up these gears is going to be a little tricky. So what you're going to do is line these up as best as you can and then tap them back into place. Just give them a nice coating of WD-40 on the inside. Coat the shaft. And it should help them slide on a lot easier than they were to take off. You can just use a long socket to tap it back into place. Once it's lined up good, put your dowel into it. Then do the same with the gear. Make sure you line up the hole. Alright, I got that one in there too. I just kind of work with whatever tools I have on hand. This would be really easy if you had a punch and a vise. There you are. All set. Next, install the distributor back in your car or truck. So line up the rotor as much as you can to where you believe it you had it. When you push down, the gear will spin and this will stay set. The distributor, you're going to have to line it up with the marking you did down there. But before you tighten down the distributor, you have to make sure your rotor is pointing to the exact same location it was. So before you tighten it down, just quickly fit your cap on, the bottom of your distributor cap. Just fit it on like how it was, like that. And line up your distributor with the bottom marking. If that bottom marking is set and your rotor marking is set up here, you're good to go. If it's not, what you're going to have to do is pick up your distributor, turn your gear. So basically you pick it up, see it'll turn like that. Once you pick it up, turn this a tooth, about maybe that much, and then push back down. In my situation, it was set pretty good, so just find where that gear was, and then push it down. There. Just like that. I'm going to set that lower marking there. Next, install your lower cap. The markings line up. So tighten everything down, you should be good to go. Next, install the pickup rotor. Install the rotor and then the cap. Connect your module. Reconnect your intake boots. Install your throttle cover. And lastly, connect your negative cable. Make sure it's nice and tight. Alright, let's hear how she fires up. Alright guys, so she fires up real nice. Sounds healthy. Idles really good. So I only recommend you guys doing something like this if you've already checked your fuel pressure your spark plugs. Do all the regular maintenance first. Get your spark plugs done, fuel filter, cap and rotor, ignition coil. You're going to need to do stuff like that on an older vehicle like this anyways. They don't cost that much. Get those done. You're still having some starting up issues. Go ahead and tackle your ignition module and pickup coil. Well, that does it for this video. If you guys really liked it and it helped you out, let's go ahead and click that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.